If you need a pet mystery solved, then Ace Ventura is the man to turn to. In 1994, Jim Carrey starred as the oddball, hyperactive Ace Ventura, a pet detective who specializes in retrieving lost animals. Although he's looked upon as being a buffoon by the local police, Ace is about to take on his most dangerous case yet, when a dolphin called Snowflake, whom is a football team mascot, is kidnapped. Ace teams up with Snowflake's publicist Melissa Robinson, played by Courtney Cox, where he tries to solve the mystery in his own wacky way, with many comedic twists and turns along the way, in this comedy classic that became instantly loved by fans and launched Carrey's career into superstardom. I can remember watching Ace Ventura: Pet Detective for the first time when I was 10 years old, and initially I didn't like it, as I was new to Jim Carrey and his comedy style. And after watching it, I sat down and was going through the movie in my head and thinking about what I liked and what I didn't like and how the movie was on a movie making point of view, and thus without really realizing I was reviewing the movie. And thus Ace Ventura: Pet Detective is the very first movie I ever reviewed, or at least the first movie that got me in that mindset of reviewing. So it's actually a very important movie to me. So with that, 10 things that you didn't know about Ace Ventura: Pet Detective. Number 10. Morgan Creek Productions wanted a comedy hit. Morgan Creek Productions were co-founded in 1988 and would go on to release hits such as Young Guns, The Exorcist 3, Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, The Last of the Mohicans, and True Romance, among many more. The company wanted to produce a comedy movie that would appeal to a large audience. The company already had some success in the comedy genre with Major League. However, their next comedy attempt, Stay Tuned, which came out in 1992, didn't do too well. So their next comedy attempt, Ace Ventura: Pet Detective, was written by writer Jack Bernstein, and was then rewritten by Liar Liar and Bruce Almighty director Tom Shadyac, who then also became Ace Ventura: Pet Detective's director. And the movie was to be co-produced by Warner Brothers and given a budget of $15 million. So the biggest challenge awaiting the production is finding the right actor to play Ace Ventura, the comical character who is described as being the funny 007 of pet detectives.
Do not go in there. Woo!
Number 9. Potential Ace Venturas. The number one choice for playing the part of Ace Ventura: Pet Detective was Ghostbusters and Spaceballs star Rick Moranis, which would have been interesting. I mean, just imagine an Ace Ventura who was less Jim Carrey and more Louis Tully. However, Moranis turned the part down, probably because at that time he was starring in the Spielberg-produced The Flintstones movie. Breakfast Club star Judd Nelson was also considered, which I honestly can't see, as was Alan Rickman, who previously worked with Morgan Creek Productions when he starred as the Sheriff of Nottingham in Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. Yeah, we could have gotten a British Ace Ventura who talks about cutting people's hearts out with a spoon. However, both Nelson and Rickman turned the role down, so it seemed that the production had difficulty in finding the right man for the job, but maybe they could find the right woman. Number 8. Then Ace Ventura was nearly a female character. So with the difficulties of finding a man to play the lead character of Ace Ventura, the production thought about the possibility of making Ace Ventura a woman. For those who saw my video about the movie Big would know that a very similar thing happened during the making of that movie, when they just couldn't find a male actor to cast as the movie's lead. Ace Ventura's producers were interested in casting Whoopi Goldberg in the role. Goldberg had previously starred in comedic roles, and I always find her hilarious in the role of Oda Mae Brown in Ghost, and had they gone with her, it would have been an interesting direction. However, the production caught sight of Jim Carrey in the comedy sketch show In Living Color, and knew that they found their Ace Ventura, and thus he was cast.
I just can't do it, Captain! I don't have the power!
And 1994 was definitely the year of Jim Carrey, as in that year he also starred in The Mask and Dumb and Dumber, as well as Ace Ventura: Pet Detective. Number 7. Jim Carrey takes charge. When Carrey was brought on board, he helped to rework the film and shape it more to his comedy style. His involvement in Ace Ventura was way beyond being an actor, as he also worked on rewriting the script, as well as developing the character's voice, hair, and quirky mannerisms. The character's unique movements and tics were entirely brought to the character by Carrey himself. He based the character's movements on how birds move, and in the original script, Ace was more of a bumbling idiot. Carrey wanted to give the character intelligence, be that quirky and childish intelligence, with him winning the day by his wit and investigations rather than blind luck. Jim Carrey also did a lot of improvising while filming too. For example, his famous "alrighty then" line wasn't in the script, but something he added. The line became iconic and like a trademark to Jim Carrey, just like "I'll be back" was to Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Alrighty then.
In other words, Jim Carrey really breathed life into the character of Ace Ventura and made him the character that everyone loves. And the movie itself was kind of his baby, what with all the creative input he added. Number 6. A deleted scene was put back in for the VHS release. There are several scenes that were cut from Ace Ventura: Pet Detective, like a scene where he goes to a gas station and meets a depressed gas station attendant, and a scene where he gets into a scrape with a bar gang, and a scene where Ace performs at the rock concert, and he really gets into it. Seriously, just look at how much energy Jim Carrey has. One notorious deleted scene takes place after Ace inspects Snowflake's tank, where he addresses the press pretending to be a German dolphin trainer called Heinz Kissvelvet.
Heinz Kissvelvet! I am trainer of dolphins. You want to talk to the dolphin? You talk to me.
However, for some VHS releases, this scene was put back in the movie. The question is why? Did the production decide that the scene was too good to be deleted after all? Well, probably not, as the VHS was advertised as having additional scenes added, so it was probably a marketing ploy to breathe more life into Ace Ventura, and to give fans who have already seen the movie at theaters an incentive to go back and watch it again on VHS. Which, from a marketing standpoint, is very clever when you think about it. Number 5. Courtney Cox hasn't seen the finished movie. In Ace Ventura: Pet Detective, actress Courtney Cox plays the love interest, Melissa Robinson. Man, when I was a kid did I have an epic crush on her when I saw Ace Ventura. I was actually quite jealous of Jim Carrey, to be honest. Anyway, given that Ace Ventura came out in early 1994, she wasn't quite Friends and Scream Courtney Cox yet, but no longer dancing with Bruce Springsteen and fighting alongside He-Man Courtney Cox. And I always felt that she had pretty good chemistry with Carrey, and that there was an attraction between them. However, she apparently really didn't enjoy making the movie, so much so that she supposedly never saw the finished film. Apparently her friend's co-star Jennifer Aniston brought a copy of Ace Ventura over to her home for them both to watch it together one evening, but nope, she didn't want to. Okay, seriously, it's time to watch it already. Number 4. Sequels. So due to the popularity of Ace Ventura: Pet Detective, there was an inevitable sequel which came out the following year, which was called Ace Ventura: When Nature Calls, which sees Ace Ventura traveling to Africa, even though the movie was actually filmed in Texas and British Columbia. This time the movie had a different writer-director, but did open at the number 1 spot in the box office when it came out, making it a box office success. To me, When Nature Calls didn't have the magic of the first movie. It was okay, but to me, just not as good as the first one. However, despite that, fans should still check it out regardless. Then oddly in 2009, there was a made-for-TV sequel called Ace Ventura: Pet Detective Jr., where this time Jim Carrey didn't return, but instead the story focuses on his kid. And yeah, going by the DVD cover, it looks obnoxious and like it's trying way too hard. Wait, is that Jonah Hill? No, I haven't seen this entry, so for all I know, this could be a cinematic masterpiece of Martin Scorsese and Stanley Kubrick levels. But from reviews that I've read, that's unlikely, as the movie was universally hated, and doesn't even have a score on Rotten Tomatoes. Most people didn't like the shift in making it a kids movie, whereas some people didn't even know about this movie's existence. I don't even think it's seen the light of day here in Australia. So that's 2 Jim Carrey movies that have been ruined with bad sequels that he didn't star in. 3 if you want to count that Dumb and Dumber one. Basically, don't do a sequel to a Jim Carrey movie if you can't get Jim Carrey. Number 3, animated series. Oh, and there was also an animated series based off Ace Ventura: Pet Detective. The series ran for 2 seasons from 1995 to 1997 on CBS and was then picked up for a 3rd season by Nickelodeon in 1999. The series was very slapstick and made use of a lot of toilet humour, and one of the writers of the show was none other than Seth MacFarlane. And it's claimed that the humour used in the show is very similar to MacFarlane's subsequent shows. For all we know, the Ace Ventura cartoon might just be the genesis for the likes of Family Guy, or at least a starting point for MacFarlane to find his footing. The show was popular to fans of the Ace Ventura films, but wasn't bringing in new fans as low figures led to its cancellation. The show was aired the same time as another animated series based off a Jim Carrey movie, The Mask, and there was even a crossover episode where Ace Ventura met Stanley Ipkiss, aka The Mask, and I don't know why this epic crossing over of Carrey-based characters doesn't get talked about more often. Number 2, planned reboot. Oh yeah, that dreaded word that no lover of cinema wants to hear. Reboot. Yeah, sends shivers up the spine every time you hear it, right? An announcement was made in 2017 that Morgan Creek was planning a reboot on several properties that the company owned, such as Young Guns, The Exorcist series, and yes, one of those films in the planned lineup of reboots was Ace Ventura. It's said that the reboot is still set in the same universe as the other movies, but more of a passing of the baton, with Ace Ventura giving his pet detective duties to a long-lost son or daughter. Didn't we already do that with Ace Ventura Jr.? Yep, because it worked so well the first time. It's literally the same thing all over again, and that movie proved that no one likes seeing an Ace Ventura kid taking over. Oh well, it's their franchise, they can do whatever they want with it. Who knows, maybe they got some really good ideas, and that the reboot is going to be a stroke of comedy genius. Well, all we can do is be hopeful. Number 1, critics hated it, but audiences loved it. When Ace Ventura was released in cinemas, it made $107 million on a $15 million budget, making it a success. But critics did not like the movie. They couldn't see what all the fuss was about or why people were finding it so funny. The movie was accused of being mean-spirited. Gene Siskel flat out called it an appallingly bad movie. Roger Ebert called it a long, unfunny slog. The movie's popularity seemed to be shrugged off as, oh well, clearly this is a movie that appeals to juvenile people between the ages of 10 to 20, like as if that's a bad thing. Although, I don't know why that should be frowned upon, as 10 to 20-year-olds do go to the cinema to see movies too. I can remember being a kid and all my friends loving Ace Ventura when it came out, and constantly impersonating him at school, and the frustrated teachers just couldn't figure it out. Like, what on earth was all this about? It definitely hit a nerve with younger people. And maybe it was a case that the older people just didn't understand this new kind of oddball childlike hyperactive comedy. After all, Jim Carrey wasn't a thing yet, but he quickly became one, as in 1994 he was the second highest grossing movie star after Tom Hanks. And from there, Jim Carrey's comedy antics were praised. It's like suddenly everyone figured it out and got on board. Maybe it took a little getting used to at the start. Now granted, some people may find that some of the humour and subplots in the movie have not aged very well. So if you're new to the movie, just take on board that it was made at a less sensitive time, and I don't think it's meant to be a reflection of the real world, but rather an over-exaggerated, wacky, oddball one. But regardless, Jim Carrey, as we know, has gone on to have an amazing career in movies, and his leap to big-time movie star all started with the wacky shenanigans of Ace Ventura. Ace Ventura: Pet Detective is a film I've really come to appreciate over the years. It set the stage for Jim Carrey's fast-paced style of energetic comedy. I do think that he would go on to perfect his craft for The Mask and Dumb and Dumber, But to me, Ace Ventura Pet Detective was like a starting point. It was a symbol that a new dawn of comedy was among us. Anyway, I'm Minty, and if they ever do make another Ace Ventura movie, then here's my suggestion. Ace Ventura in space. See ya!